There was a flat of apples over here that I'd been feeding the goats, and Ezzy had found them the other day, so she's looking for them. Nope, let's go milk. We're full. That'll be just about a half a gallon of milk there. Yep. No, don't go up there, you bugger. What? Huh? What? I don't know if that'll work or not. That can work? Maybe, kinda, sorta. Well, Mary here with High Sun Grows, bringing you Farmer Friday. And ready to milk. What do you think, Ezzy? What do you think, Esmeralda? Huh? Yeah, I see you. I see you. Ready to milk? Yeah. Alright, there we go. Ah, been a week, as usual. I did get Digger's house finished. I had to build him a new house because he wrecked the roof on his old one, jumping on top of it. He seems to be okay with the new space. And I think we'll be all right. I think it'll keep him dry when the weather gets rough, and there's a little porch so he doesn't have to be closed in. Like most livestock guardian dogs, he does not like to be inside an enclosed space. He just as soon lay out in the rain as to go in under a roof and be closed up. So that took most of the extra time I had this week. I did rip out the row of cherry tomatoes that are in this little garden here by the creek. I'm still working in there, trying to finish getting the raised bed set up, and I need to reset the trellis and put in a bunch of compost so I can get my peas planted, the ones that should have been planted, you know, about Halloween, between Halloween and Thanksgiving, and this is the 1st of December. My life doesn't cooperate with my plans. I got Jupiter and Bentley's feet trimmed up, and got them some copper boluses. I think Pinto Bean is the only goat left that needs a copper bolus. We tend to have copper deficiency with the goats because we feed a high alfalfa diet, and the alfalfa, my understanding is it's high in molybdenum, and molybdenum prevents the absorption of copper, so they need to eat extra copper to make up for that. We feed alfalfa, well, I feed alfalfa because it's high in calcium and protein, good for the milkers, and because it's actually cheaper than Bermuda grass hay or a Bermuda alfalfa blend, which is very hard to come by. So I just deal with the copper issue. We did get about 3/10 of an inch of rain overnight. There are some clouds coming up over the hill now, but it isn't supposed to rain anymore. It's supposed to clear off and be very cold tonight. So I probably need to go shut off the water and drain all the hoses when I get done milking. That becomes a nightly chore all winter, anytime that it's going to possibly freeze up. I need to figure out where some of my little styrofoam boxes and things are for the faucets in the yard, and get those situated, covered up. The prediction is for 36 degrees, which means I'll probably be right at 32 for a few hours. So it's not like it's going to be a super hard freeze, but it is better to get all the hoses and things drained so that I don't have to worry about it in case they're wrong. I have managed to move some of the junk piles out of the living room so I can make a fire, and that's been very nice. I got the gas situated so that I can have hot water, but I haven't even been able to start on getting a new line run for the kitchen stove because I've had to do things like build Digger a new house. I also had to go and turn the compost pile because it was getting way too hot. It was hitting 160 degrees and it had to be turned and watered so that we don't have any spontaneous combustion, because that would not be fun at all. And I'm sure that somebody would write me a ticket or something if I had to call the fire department for that. I lost a breeder chicken yesterday. I don't know what her issue was. She was just hatched last year, so she wasn't terribly old, but she was just dead in the pen, and that sort of thing happens. I've had birds get startled and fly up and hit a water bucket, bam, break their necks and fall down dead. That happened right in front of me one time. But I know she didn't act sick the day before, so I am inclined to think it was something fairly sudden. Other than the days are getting shorter and colder, not too much is different this week. What do you think, Esmeralda? Trying to think of what else I've done this week. I haven't had a chance to make any more soap or lotion, but I did get all my equipment washed up, so that was a plus. Well, except for some soap molds. I gotta wash those still, so I'll probably get to those tonight. I just had things just kind of got piled up with the not having hot water on tap there. What? Are you done? Oh, are you ready for some peanuts? Esmeralda loves peanuts. So I buy raw peanuts in the birdseed aisle, and she gets a couple handfuls every evening. For one thing, they have, besides having some extra protein and fat, they are also fairly high in copper. So that's a fairly significant source of copper, which might be why she likes them so much. I don't know. I've just been kind of taking stock of things. I mean, I still have huge junk piles. I still have things that need to go away. I still have gardens that need to be situated and get ready to plant. I've got more seeds that I'd like to get started so that we have more like broccoli and cauliflower in the spring. I've not got a whole lot of, Well, I haven't got any real amount of fall crops, just because it was so hot and so dry this summer. I just could not get them started when they should have been started. And then all the other things that have gone on this fall, and just not having enough hours in a day to get everything accomplished. I still need to go out and plug up holes in the fence. The ones I'm thinking of, I have not seen any evidence that the coyotes are coming in through them, and I have not seen a coyote inside the perimeter fence since I plugged the hole up there above the boys' pen. So I have my fingers crossed that that will hold out until I can get to it, which if the weather's nice on Sunday, maybe I can work on that a little bit. And then I can go from there. Next payday, we're going to get our chainsaw out of layaway. I got a little battery operated 16-inch Greenworks. From everything I've seen, the Greenworks stuff is really good stuff, sturdy, and it does the job. You done, Azzy? You ready to go back? Okay. Here we go. Well, that was a little train wreck. Went to get Bambi out, put Esmeralda away. Storm got out and had to run in here and eat up all the crumbs Esmeralda had left. And in the meantime, Bambi is over there browsing by the boys' pen and got them all hot and bothered. I don't think she's really in heat. I think she's just over there snacking on the bushes. I think everybody needs more minerals and more browse. So I have market tomorrow, but maybe when I get home, if I have a few minutes while I'm doing chores, I can cut a few tree branches. The mulberry and the locust still have a few leaves on them. They'll like that. And the leaves have a lot of minerals in them. The goats have a very high need for minerals. They just, copper and zinc and manganese and magnesium and everything. So, I'll see what I can do about. And I've got stuff that needs pruned anyway. I got some big rose bushes that need pruned back, and they love those. The mulberry needs thinned out. So all of that will be good for them. What? Will you knock it off? Quit being such a booger. Oh, the cat was in here, I guess. So, let's see, what else happened this week? What? Got the stove going, well, the wood stove, and you know, if I really had to do it, I can roast a pan of meat on top of my wood stove. It's just a little airtight wood heater, but I have done that before. It's probably on my old blog. I think I roasted a ham because we had so much snow, a bunch of trees over at Top of the World all fell on the power lines, and we didn't have power for about 3 days, I guess. And then some places didn't have power for about a week. So I just cozied up to the stove and set my roast pan on top of it and cooked a big old ham and some potatoes and things on the top of the stove, and it all worked out just fine. That's one of the things I've never understood about having an all-electric house and being 100% dependent on electricity, because at least every other year here, and sometimes every year, we have a spell where there'll be like a heavy snow or something happens and we won't have any electricity for 1 to 3 days. And the only thing I miss when that happens is I don't have my internet. Because that is my entertainment, as well as my information gathering, as well as easy communication with family members and other people that, you know, everybody's busy. And so if I just type in the chat box, then they can just answer me when they have a few minutes, and vice versa. What is your issue, sister? Huh? You are just so fussy lately. What? You have a whole pan full of grain. No, you have a whole pan full of grain. You need to eat what you got. Quit being such a stink. You made me lose my train of thought there. Anyway, the lights go out. I'm okay. I got flashlights. I have kerosene lamps. The refrigerator and freezer is usually good for 2 or 3 days, just because if it goes out, it is normally in the winter when it's really cold anyway. And then I have my wood stove, so just fine. I think that's the kind of preparedness that you should have. This going and buying a whole bunch of, you know, freeze-dried food that's going to last 25 years in a package. I don't want to eat stuff like that 25 years from now. I want to eat good stuff all the time. And, you know, I do keep enough food in the house. I could live off what I have for quite a while. And if you do get that sort of foods, that store food, you need to use it and be used to eating it and used to cooking with it. Because otherwise, if you did get in a situation where that was your store of food, you weren't going to have any experience with it. And you need to use some of it and then replace it and decide which things you like the best and get more of those, and ditch the stuff you didn't like, and, you know, stuff like that. Kind of like I see these gals on the internet. Oh my goodness. Let's look in my pantry. Let's look in my root cellar. And I'm like, what are you going to do with 500 quarts of food? Especially home canned food. Now, we do have lids that do say they are good 18 months. And a lot of things you're probably reasonably safe at 2 years. But beyond that, some food is just not that great after 2 years in a jar. Even in a dark, cool place. It's starting to get mushy. It's starting to deteriorate a little bit. Your pickles are certainly not going to be crispy in 2 years. You know, stuff like that. I'm more along the lines of, I would like to eat fresh from my garden every day. That's what I would like to do. And when the garden is going really good, a lot of times I just go out and browse. I just browse like the goats, you know, get a bite of this and a bite of that and a handful of that stuff. and keep going. Now, when I had a big family and I was feeding 5 people every day, yes, I did can things up in quarts and some things in pints, because I was feeding a number of people at every meal. But now it's just me, so if I do any canning, I'm liable to do it in a pint or a half pint, depending on what it is, because there's just me, and I'm not feeding a big crowd. I don't need to have a big thing. Some things I still would do in quarts, like bone broth, because that makes an almost instant soup. But things like green beans and pickles and such, nah, I just do them in little pints, and that's just about the right amount for just me. Be enough for dinner and a little bit for leftovers, and that works out really good. So there's your little life advice from the milk stand there. How's that? We'll call it that, huh? Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully everybody has a good week, and we'll catch you next time. Well, I'm started out here, now that the trellis is down, digging out rocks and Bermuda grass, and we're working our way towards the giant squirrel hole. Well, I think Digger's new house is about as done as it's going to get. I didn't have all the tin up on it yesterday, and we did get 3/10 of an inch of rain last night. But the part that had tin stayed pretty dry. The other part, of course, was wet. So I finished the tin this morning. I put up a little board there. You can see, and I dumped part of a bale of pine shavings that I had in here. I was going to buy cedar shavings in the hopes that the mice won't be as attracted to it as they are to the pine, but I forgot, so I'll just have to remember this next week. So I think this project's about done. So some little details where our platform is 2 pallets covered in scrap plywood. There's 3 pallets standing up with their 48-inch side upright. Then 2 pallets over the top. And then this end is supported by an old fence post I had. It's a treated fence post, 8 feet long, but it had a really bad crook in the end. And so I cut it in half and used it for uprights to hold this pallet roof up. And then let's get up here and you can see the scrappy tin job up here on the roof. So there's 3 different pieces. That piece is upside down because that was the best way to fit it with the diagonal cut. Then this one has a diagonal cut. And I did come and cover up some little holes and one big hole with some flashing tape. So hopefully we don't get any leaks. And we'll see how this works out. Well, I'm started out here, now that the trellis is down, digging out rocks and Bermuda grass. And we're working our way towards the giant squirrel hole.